Hey guys, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. I have a really quick tutorial I want to share with you. These are some candy holders that I came up with that I thought were super adorable, and I wanted to share them with you. So we have a 3x3 size that I'm going to demonstrate today, and then there's a 4x4 size that I'll give you the measurements for, but it's done exactly the same way. It's just a little bit bigger. I was playing with some Doodlebug paper that I had purchased from Country Craft Creations last year. And I was trying to make some sort of a box, that could be taken apart and that you could, put candy in for Halloween. Wasn't really happy with this design because it was going to come apart and I wasn't sure how to tie it together because it came, at a diagonal and all that. So I was just kind of playing with the design. Then I got an idea. So I took this idea that I was goofing off with and created this. And I'm calling this an all-in-one candy box. So it's basically the same as this, except for it has a hinge so that it stays together. And then I added a closure with a ribbon, and voila, you have a super quick, easy little treat box, I can't talk, that you could give to, kids at Halloween. I could see these in Easter baskets. I could see these as Christmas presents, and they just open up like this. You can take the ribbon out, and then this 3x3 holds 3 Halloween sized candies. Okay. So basically it's just tied together with a little ribbon, and it's attached, so there's not 2 pieces to fall apart, and really easy. So I did that one, and then I played with another design here with some more papers. So these 2 are Doodlebug papers that were from last year that I bought from Country Craft Creations. This one here is Bewitching Hour. This is a Country Craft Creations exclusive paper collection, and I did this one with the little witches and the haunted house here, and I just thought that was adorable. This is a past design team package that I had scraps from, so these can totally be done with scraps. Added the seam binding that I had a little bit left over from that paper collection, and then again it just unties real simply and opens up, and you can see how much candy I have shoved in there. Okay, so it can hold quite a bit. So really fun little way to give a present. Then I decided I was going to make a bigger size. So in order to just do this with one piece of paper and not have to piece things together, the biggest I can make at this point with a 1-inch wide spine, which is what all of the rest of them have, is 1 inch, is a 4x4. And again, this one has another ribbon closure. I added some eyelets to the sides to keep it closed, and this one can fit all of that candy. So, it's just really kind of fun to do and really super cute. They're lined with papers inside and out, and just really easy to make. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these with a 3x3 size, and then I'll give you the measurements for a 4x4 size. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is grab our scoreboard. And you're going to need a piece of paper, piece of cardstock. I'm using black artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations. And you're going to put it in your scoreboard. It's 10x7. So this is, again, for the 3x3 box with a 1-inch kind of wide spine, or gusset, whatever you want to call it. So it's 3x3x1, I guess, 1 deep. Okay, so 10x7 is your piece of cardstock size. And you're going to score at 1, at 2, at 5, 8, and 9. And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 3 and at 4. Okay, so you should have a piece that will look like that. All right, and I know it's black, but it's really super easy measurements here. And then what we're going to do is grab our scissors, and we're going to make some cuts. So I got my scissors here. And the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to double check, I want to make sure I get this right, is we're going to cut these 2 bottom ones out, and we're going to make a tab here and a tab here. Okay, so we're going to cut straight up on the one side of that score so we can get that score line out. We're going to cut straight up to that first score line. Okay, and then I'm going to make this simple. I'm just going to cut this out here. So I'm going to cut it straight across, and then I'm going to cut straight across here. So I just want to show you how we're going to do this. And then I'm going to cut that little tab off and make this into a tab, okay? So I'm just gonna angle that just a little bit to make a tag, okay? So far we've cut that section out and this section out. We've made this a tab. Now we're gonna make this outer one a tab as well. So I'm just going to just miter that just a little bit. Okay, so that's what you should have on the side of the box. Now we're just going to repeat that on this side. You can do it from the back side or you can do it from this side, either way. But we're going to cut straight up. Okay, I'm going to cut this completely out. I'm going to cut up this 1-inch piece here with the 2 1-inch squares that are created by the scores. Cut that little tab off. And then I'm going to make that into a tab. Maybe. And then I'm going to make that outer 1-inch piece a tab. So this is what you will have when you are done with all of that. So I'll just kind of keep that for a second so you can see it while I get rid of these scraps. All right, then the next cutting that we're going to do is we're going to, this middle part here in between the 3-inch squares, we need to cut that slit, but do not cut this bottom piece right here. This piece here, that 1-inch piece with the score, that's what's going to connect everything together. So we don't want to cut that out, but we are going to cut up this middle slit. And I'm going to cut the slit, or the, excuse me, the score out. So I just want to cut just a wee little bit out. Just on either side of the score, you're just going to have that little teeny tiny piece pop out. So you can see how that looks, like that. You're going to do that to both sides, but do not cut into that 1-inch part right there. All right. There we go. And I just think these are super easy, and I think that they have a ton of applications, and you could put all kinds of little presents in there. So it's not just for candy, not just for candy. Okay, so here's what we have. So this is, we're looking at it from the outside, and you have your slit there, but this is connected right here. That's the only thing that's keeping this whole piece connected at this point. So I'm just going to fold and burnish my score lines. All right. And just be careful, because really, honestly, that's the only thing that's holding this whole thing together at this point, okay? All right. Fold in our side tabs here, and then we've got kind of, I'm going to go through this in steps to show you how to put it together and how to put the paper on so it's nice and easy to do. And once you get the hang of this, I whipped out 3 of them just like crazy, like nobody's business. Okay, so here's the inside now, because everything is kind of folded into the inside. So we're going to start here now that we've folded everything together. The next thing we're going to do is grab a corner rounder, and I'm just going to round the inner corners of these boxes. So when you look at this box here, when it's opened, when you're putting it together, the inner corners here, that's what we're going to round. And then when it closes, it'll not only help it close, because it won't have a sharp point, but it kind of gives it a little bit of something, something, I think. Not necessarily you have to do this, but I want to. And it doesn't matter like what, you know, size corner rounder you use. It's totally up to you. Okay, so now you have this. Then the next thing you're going to do is grab your inside papers. Now, I found it a lot easier to use non-directional papers on this. I mean, obviously, then you don't have to worry about what direction they're going. But if you do have directional papers, just remember, this is going to fold up like this. So when the box is open, you're going to want your papers going the correct direction. Now, I chose papers that it didn't really matter a whole lot, except for the spider that's hanging down. So I want to make sure, like, I get him to where this is the top piece of that box when it's open. Okay, does that make sense? So just kind of figure out where you want your papers. I'm using, this is Midnight Ride by Country Craft Creations. And I didn't say this, but this is Midnight Manor by Country Craft Creations. So I used 3 different collections by Country Craft Creations. So I had Bewitching Hour, Midnight Manor, and then this is Midnight Ride. Okay, so I'm gonna round my corners for the inside. Okay, And we're going to put the ones closest to you off to the side for just a second, because those are going to go later. Right now, all you want to do is put pattern paper on the 2 top ones here, and we're going to put pattern paper on the bottom part here. So I'm going to just add my glue, and I cut the papers an 1/8 inch shorter, so they are 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 to cover the 3 by 3 panel. Okay. So you will need 4 for the inside and 4 for the outside, and then for the little spine pieces, you will need 8 pieces that are 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? And that paper has a little bit of white on it, but that's okay. It's a candy box, right? Okay, so then you're going to cover that, and then you're going to take a couple pieces, and again, non-directional is a lot easier, so I just cut some strips. And again, like I said, they are 7/8 by 2 7/8. Get a little piece of glue out of the way. And I didn't ink anything. I figured if you're giving these to kids, I'm not going to go through like a whole bunch of inking and going crazy, because they're going to probably destroy them. But if you're giving them to a grown-up, you know, and you want it to be really fancy, you know, you can ink and do all kinds of things with it. Okay, so we have this piece. Now, this is the inside. Here's the other 2 pieces, but we're not going to put those on yet because we need to attach them first. But while it's flat, we're going to flip it clean over, and we're going to put pattern paper on the outside. Now, the paper I chose is a little directional, and because of the way the box folds up, we have to be careful on how we lay the paper down. So I'm going to, this here, I'm going to put, this is going to be outside. Okay, so O for outside, this is going to be inside. And the left side goes over the right. Okay, so like this box here, the left side goes over the right side. It just kind of slides right in there. So that's the outside. This is the inside. And then the direction of the paper, I'm going to put arrows. So this one on the inside will go that way. This one on the inside will go that way. And then the outside pieces need to be facing this direction. Okay. This will be the top of our box when it's closed. And this will be a side. And this is going to be a side. So I'm going to just put S's here just so you have a visual of what that looks like. I'm going to make sure you can kind of see that. And this will be the bottom of the box. Okay. So you can kind of get an idea of what direction your papers are going to go. Okay. That is important if you're using directional papers. If you're not using directional papers, then just have at it. I decided I was using directional papers, and I really, when I cut the papers out, I loved this because I got the banner with the trick or treat. Okay, so I'm going to lay that like that because I want my orientation right. Here's the outside of my box, and then I've got a piece for the inside here, and then a piece for the inside here. So you can see the different directions that they're going. Okay, so then we're going to punch our corners. All right. And I'm just going around and I'm making sure that I'm punching the correct corners, which go with the direction of the paper if you have, you know, like I said, directional paper. So you just have to watch that. They're all cut the same size. They just have to be set in different configurations, you know, different directions. So I'm just going to lay these down, and then it'll make more sense in just a minute, I think. But again, super easy to do if you make sure you use papers that don't have a direction. That makes it way simple. Because then you don't have to worry about it, right? All right. So I'm just going to lay these down in the direction that they go. This is going to fold to the back of our box. This one I'm laying down right now, so that's why it's kind of upside down. This is going to be the inside of our box to the front. And we tried to fix my chair, but it's not fixable, apparently. So I think I'm going to have to invest in a new chair. Sorry about that, guys. But it's Halloween, so maybe it's just because it's Halloween, it's creaky, right? I don't know. All right. So some of my boxes, I did use non-directional paper on the sides, and I'll show you that. So like on this one here, non-directional, so I didn't have to worry about how to lay them down. On this one here, I did, and the way that my papers were, I did have to watch the directions of those panels. So just be aware of that. Maybe use paper clips, clip them down. For this, I'm going to go ahead, I'm using non-directional, so I can just put those on and be done. Good gravy, my chair is squeaky. I am so sorry. Ooh, nuts. And my desk is so short. I'm going to stand up. It's going to make me nuts. Okay, so now my voice is going to be right next to the mic. All right. All right, so we're going to put in pattern paper on the outside all the way around. Such a fun little project too, and it doesn't take any time really to put it together. And I love the fact these are all scraps, so you could bust out a bunch if you wanted to for scraps. It's big enough you could put a little present in there. You can have you know, put a little note card in there, whatever. Okay, so the outside is done. We have our inside papers left to go. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere these tabs here. So the little side tabs. All right. So I'm just going to put a little glue here. And a little glue here. And I found it easy to just stand it up and push it together. Like so. And stand it up and push it together. And it's nice that there's, you know, an inch wide space there. That makes it super nice. All right. Okay, so once you do that, then we're going to go ahead and put the side panels on. And the fun part about this is now you can fold it, and it makes it really easy to put those side panels down. Now, I do suggest that you do cover the inside with pattern paper so that you cover up those tabs. It will help make sure that this closes nice and seamlessly and doesn't get hooked on those tabs at all. And then whatever you put in here obviously won't get caught up in the tabs. It'll cover them up and make it kind of nice. Okay. So I will do this. All right. Put those down. All right. Next step is to close our box. So we're going to just apply glue to these tabs and then just close that up. Okay, so just line up those sides. And then again, because our box can be opened a little bit, and that tab is getting in the way here, you can open it up really nicely because you have two sides that are nice and wide. And go ahead and lay that down. Okay, so then grab your pattern paper, and we've already got a corner here. So we'll match up our corners. And then I'm going to lay that down in there. The pattern paper on both sides also strengthens it a little bit more too. Okay, now we're going to take this one, do the same thing. We're going to put glue on our tab here. And I think the 1-inch tabs do make it stronger too, you know, because basically it's not a complete box here, so it does need a little bit more strength. Okay. All right, and we'll put this in here. Oop. All right. So again, these are 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 squares that I put of pattern paper on the box. All right, so we have our box. Here's the back. Here's the front. and the right side goes into the left, okay, like that, and boom, there is your box. Super easy, opens up, you can put all kinds of stuff in it. So then we're just going to set some eyelets and tie with a ribbon, and then we are done. So I have a couple of my eyelets here. I thought that color, the bronzy color, kind of worked. So we're going to put one on the top and one on this side. So I'm just going to grab my crocodile, and I'm eyeballing it about a 1/4 inch up or so. Okay, so there's just those two open ends. We're gonna just punch that out, set our eyelet. I did this box, I figured this out a while ago, and I was kind of waiting for October, and then I had some other stuff come up, so I didn't do it, but I want to get it out there because if you want to make it for Halloween, you can. All right, so there is our box, and I just did it backwards. There you go. So there's the outside right there, and then when you open it up, there's the inside. Okay, like that. There is our box. So then all we need to do is we need to stuff some candy in there, right? And then we'll tie it closed with a ribbon. And so I just grabbed some ribbon from my stash here, and we'll just go in here. Super simple, really easy. I can see this being a really cool, like I said, Christmas, Easter, whatever. Whatever. All right, like so. Get that ribbon tied in there. And honestly, I'm just kind of eyeballing how much to use. I grabbed a yard piece here, and I'm just gonna do this. There you go. All right, trim your ends how you want them. Okay, and then you're done. So there you go. Cute little box. So that is the tutorial. That is how you make these boxes. Now, if you want to make one that is a little bit bigger, let me show you my notes here real quick. I'm not going to demonstrate that. It's made exactly the same way. This is the 4x4 box. It's just a little bit bigger as far as that goes. And I've got my ribbon all tangled up. There we go. This is my 4x4 box. Okay, so it has the same 1-inch sides. It's just 4x4. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock that's 12x9. And then you're going to score on the 12. You're going to score at 1 inch, 2 inches, 6 inches, 10, and 11 inches. Okay, score on the 12 at 1, 2, 6, 10, and 11. And again, this is for the 4x4 box. And then you're going to turn it and score on the 9 at 4 and 5. Okay, and then you're going to do everything exactly the same as far as construction of the actual box. You are going to use pattern papers, but this time they will be, the squares will be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then the side pieces are going to be 7/8 by 3 7/8. And so that's the 4x4x1 version of the box. And this is bigger. And I wanted to do a bigger one because I had these Rice Krispie treats that didn't really fit too nicely in here. So I wanted to make a little bit bigger box. So I did that. So that's kind of, that's the end of the tutorial. So I hope you liked it. This was a really fun box to make, and they turned out absolutely adorable. And, you know, I think they have a lot of uses. I do. Anyway, there you go. So that's my tutorial. So I hope you liked it. Happy Halloween. I hope you have fun making these, and I'll be back again soon with more tutorials and fun things and, you know, shares and all the things. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.